Hi, Gemini. This is your October-November read. So let me just tell you what's going on. Gemini, we're going to start right off the bat with somebody is just like playing you for a fool. Somebody's playing you for a fool. I think you kind of already know that. You've kind of been struggling anyway, Gemini, with your feelings and emotions for this person. It's kind of like there's been a lot of ups and downs. There's been a lot of boredom. There's been a lot of you testing, so to speak, the situation, testing the relationship. The first card that comes up, I do have the Page of Pentacles because of the fact that this reflection that's presenting itself to you, the reflection of your situation, of the relationship, of your feelings, of your emotions. Right now, it's like you're looking really hard at something and you're not sure, or you're not believing your own self. You're not trusting your judgment or your intuition. You're not sure how you're feeling, so you say. Although if I asked you in person, how's this relationship going? What's happening between you? You'd be telling me that you're overwhelmed. You'd be saying that you don't know what to do. You'd be saying that the person is not responding to you or showing up for you, or something's changed. You'd be telling me that something has changed between the two of you. I feel like a lot of you guys right now, Geminis, you're trying to defend yourself in a situation. You're trying to stand up for yourself, although, like I said, being very overwhelmed, it's like you almost feel a little bit defeated. You might feel like your back is against the wall here. For some of you, it's hard for you to stand your ground, but you need to do that right now. You absolutely need to stand your ground. You have choices right now. You have choices about this. And as you defend yourself while you're with this person, even though you have the Lover's card here, yes, it's showing me a union. Yes, it's showing me a couple. But it's talking about you need to have balances. There has to be a balance here between the two of you. Your choices have to be able to complement one another. You have to be able to meet each other halfway on these decisions, and I don't feel like that's happening. I feel like you guys are struggling to get that balance. For some of you, the ups and downs that have been happening in this relationship have kind of like give you a tailspin. It's like you feel like you're facing in another direction. You feel like you're not quite sure where to go with this. Now, for some of you, the horn blew. You got the sound, like the sound of the horns. And what that means is a wake-up call. Okay, when you look at the Judgment card, that's about a wake-up call. All right? For some of you, this is when you started noticing that they're treating you different, that they're acting different, that the romance is different, the intimacy is different, the amount of communication is different. Everything is off right now. It feels like it's off. Is it because with the Three of Wands here, is it because you're preparing or they're preparing perhaps to expand, like to grow, to move on, to find a new partner? Somebody's interest is changing, perhaps. It's like somebody's interest is changing. There's definitely an imbalance, so to speak. And there's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of sadness that's going on. An imbalance and a lot of sadness that's going on. This sadness is going to lead eventually to calmer waters. It is going to lead to calmer waters. But in the meantime, you are going to have to get determined, okay? Because it shows determination. You're going to have to get determined, like the Two of Wands, to plan for the future. You're going to have to prepare for whether this person stays or goes, or whether you decide to stay or go in this relationship. I feel like right now, you want to take a gamble on this. You want to stay in it. You want to keep trying. And there is luck on your side with this. There's definitely luck on your side. For some of you, you're digging very deep spiritually, trying to come up to a resolution. For some of you, this connection, this partnership, occasionally you've had simple pleasures here. Occasionally you've had some happy memories that you've made. Yes, and yes, they've been very charming at times. But right now, that's not what we're dealing with, right? Right now, you're dealing with something that's off-centered. For some of you, this offness also could be about a new job for some of you, a new placement. For some of you, it's about fighting for truth and fairness. For some of you, it's about excessive indulgence. Okay, what's that talking about? It's talking about an obsession. It's talking about an addiction. It's talking about temptation. It's talking about bondages. So it's talking about a stronghold. It's talking about somebody trying to control the other person. It's talking about feeling tempted to leave, maybe wanting to go with somebody else. Maybe the grass is looking greener on the other side for you or them. Right now, there's a big struggle, but that's okay, because we're doing October and November here. This reading is for October and November, so this is getting through the rest of October. Now, when we get into November, there's going to be some changes that are going to be made. It's kind of like, even though I have the counseling card and therapy card, this is kind of like yous counseling one another. Yous talking and saying, hey, look, we need to get back on track. We need to figure out what's wrong here. We got to find a way to put this spark back into our relationship. You are going to recover with the Six of Swords. You are going to recover in November from these hard times, so don't quit now. I know right now you have a very strong urge. You just want to fix it. You want to create it. You want to make it happen. Be patient. It is coming your way. It is coming your way. For some of you, you feel like you're left out in the cold. I have the Five of Pentacles. You definitely feel like you're left out in the cold in this situation. I get it. And right now, it feels like you're not very happy because the Sun card is in reversed. For some of you, you're just hanging around and you're waiting for this person to decide what they want to do. Let's see. But with the Four of Wands, there's going to be a celebration. There's going to be harmony. For some of you, you're going to feel a sense of freedom. For some of you, maybe somebody is going to walk away. I'm going to tell you that right now, because right here with the Two of Wands, this is like looking at what you have and looking out at the other options and opportunities, looking at where you've been, where you're at now, and where you want to go. It's like you trying to plan things, figure it out. You want to progress forward. It's like, look, your travel plans are still there. You're wanting to travel to find the happiness. You have goals that you want to attain, and that's very clear. You're going to get hit with a spark of inspiration, and that's what the Two of Wands talks about. You're going to get hit with a spark of inspiration. And this is going to inspire you to keep going, regardless whether somebody wants to leave or they want to stay. Either way, you're going to be okay. Things are going to work out. Because what's meant to be is going to be. You can't change that. If somebody wants to leave, you got to let them. Because if you try to keep somebody where they don't want to be, they're not going to try. They're not going to be happy. They're going to create arguments. They're going to do everything they can to fight with you to make you kick them out. And then it's going to be even worse. Sometimes if you just let them go, they'll get their head on straight. They'll figure out what was going on. They'll realize they want to be with you, and they'll return. So sometimes you have to be patient. You have to let them see, okay, go ahead, there are your options. There are your options, and what? Well, good luck with that. Wish them luck, okay? Then we talk about the Temperance card. You are always, 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 Gemini, trying to find the balance in the situation. Always. With this Temperance card, you're always wanting to find the balance. You're very sensible. You like things to come together. You like to see things mended rather than pulled apart. I do feel like, Geminis, that there is going to be a moment where compassion is going to count, where there's going to be some comfort and some nurturing between the two of you. There is going to be a reconciliation, so don't panic over whatever's going on in October. Just ride it out. Ride out that storm and know everything's going to be okay. Because with the Page of Cups coming back around in November, there'll be new messages, there'll be information, there'll be a lot of curiosity, there'll be a lot of creative opportunities that come. There'll be a very happy surprise coming for you. So November's looking really great. October's going to be a little strenuous until you get through it. But this person is going to come in as a fast crusader, because when I have the Knight of Swords, that's fast. This is somebody who's going to be very ambitious, somebody who's very fast thinking, somebody who's going to take quick action. Okay, so they want to succeed. They don't want this to be over. At the moment in October, it's going to look like it's done. They're finished. They're not going to come back. They're turning their head. They're turning their back on you. They're leaving you out in the cold. All the above. Just hold tight. Just keep the confidence, like I try to tell you to do. Stay confident. Just know, you know what? Sometimes people need space. Sometimes they need a moment to gather their thoughts. Sometimes they need to get their own priorities in order by themselves and then be able to come back to you and bring things to the table. Eventually, you got to learn to work on this stuff together so there's no breaking up, there's no leaving. Because when you get married, you can't say, well, you know what, I just need a break for 2 weeks and I'm just going to go away and I'll be back. What? No. You have to learn eventually how to do this together, how to give enough space to the person, let them think and feel what they want, let them express themselves, make sure you're expressing your feelings and emotions too. And then, as long as we're not trying to get us from them, meaning they're never going to act like you, they're not going to respond like you, they're not going to treat you like you would treat you, they are who they are and you are who you are. Accepting each other, flaws and all, and knowing how to take things. Knowing when to be extra sensitive and when not to. Knowing when what they're doing or saying really has nothing to do with you at all. That's something they're going through, and they got to work through that. But being supportive and saying, you know what, I love you no matter what, and we're going to get through this. Whatever we got to do, we're going to get through it. And that's how it's going to work out for you. For some of you, though, you might have been dealing with some deceit and some lies. You might have been, with the Seven of Swords, you could have been dealing with somebody who's very dishonest. Somebody who's not even honest with themselves, so therefore they cannot be honest with you. That is a little trickery. That's a little bit hard to deal with. That is not a good strategy for them. But the Strength card comes up, and it talks about that you have the courage, and you have the willpower, and you have the energy to maintain exactly where you're at right now and to move forward with positivity in the right direction. The other person that you're involved with will end up following your lead. Meditation, contemplations, reevaluation, maybe feeling a little restless, a little disconnected from the situation at the moment, perhaps quite bored with this person not around in November. But like I said, give it roughly the first week to 10 days, and there will be a reconnection between you and this person. In the beginning, between October and say the 5th of November, they may not talk, do text messages, respond to you, nothing. They might not do nothing. They might refuse any cup that you're offering. But like I said, if you listen in the beginning, give them space. And then by the 10th of November, they should be back around. They should be back communicating. And again, there's going to be fast energy, right? So I told you there's going to be fast energy. Make sure you use your unbiased judgment. Make sure you set clear boundaries. For some of you, make sure your communication is very clear. No beating around the bush. Be direct. You do have the universe hanging out with you, hoping to reassure you, reclaim your love for you, to show you the renewal that is available to you, that there's a good omen here. Okay, you're going to be able to rejuvenate, or you'll be dealing with rejuvenation, I should say, in this situation. For some of you, the anxiety, the worry, the fear, the depression, all that is taking place at the moment, feeling kind of hopeless in this matter. But it's really not in your control. There is nothing else you can do but support your partner in their choices and decisions, whether you like them or not, and let them decide what they need to do next. Don't allow yourself to get all up in your head. Don't allow yourself to be losing sleep over this. Don't allow yourself to keep worrying about this. Listen, Geminis, you're always up for a challenge. You're always prepared for that conflict. You always have an answer. Where the Five of Wands is concerned, that competition is not going to be nothing for you. You're ready to handle it. It's like, okay. Keep concentrating on what the good times were, like the Four of Wands. Keep trying to compromise, because a compromise is what's needed here. The Two of Swords is the biggest message here, and that is a compromise is needed. Okay? Especially in a stalemate negotiation. You definitely need a compromise. Without a compromise, you don't have a relationship. It won't work. I don't care what month we're in. Without a compromise, you're not going anywhere. Your hard work will pay off. You had to work a lot harder for this relationship than you did your past relationship. This one seems to be giving you a little bit of trouble. And it is because both of you are stubborn. Both of you are not always willing to meet each other halfway. Both of you are not always willing to sacrifice. So I'm going to tell you now that it is extremely important to compromise. If you're not willing to compromise, if you're not willing to give in a little bit, if you're not willing to meet them halfway, then you might as well just stay broken up. All right? So that's the message right now for Gemini, October, November. Things can change. Energy's always changing and moving. Pay attention to my lives. We'll probably do an update. We'll see if anything changes, if anything's going to get even better, or if it gets worse. We'll find out. Energy changes. Free will is always at play. All right.